Good day, class. Today we will dive into the topic of reproduction in plants, focusing on both flowering and non-flowering types. This lesson will help us understand the different modes plants use to reproduce and the significance of these processes in nature. So let's get started. So what insect can you see in the picture? That's right, that's it. That's a bee. So where do you usually see bees? Yes, on the top of a flower. So plants can produce in various ways. Some use parts like roots, stems, and leaves for reproduction, while others use flowers as accessory parts for this purpose. This is called sexual reproduction, and it involves the formation of seeds or spores. We will first look at the role flowers play in plant reproduction. So let's go over the essential parts of a flower, starting with the pistil. Okay, so this is the pistil. The pistil is called the female organ of the flower. It includes the three main parts. We have the stigma, style, and ovary. So let's first talk about the stigma. The stigma is at the top and it is sticky to trap pollen. Okay, after that, we have the style. It is a slender tube that leads, the pollen down to the ovary, and the ovary holds the ovule. That is the female organ of a flower. Next, let's have the male organ of the flower. This is the male organ of the flower called the stamen. So, it includes the anther. So, the anther is this one. And this one is the filament. The anther holds pollen sacs, while the filament positions the anther for effective pollen release. So this is the male organ of the flower. Next, we have the sepal. This is the sepal. So the sepal are very important, which are modified leaves which enclose and protect the other parts of a flower when it is still a bud, yung hindi pa siya namumukadkad. So when the flower blooms, the sepal supports the bottom of the flower. Next, let's have the receptacle. Receptacle usually, ito yung parang bulb dun sa baba ng flower. Ayun, yung kulay green. So receptacle is the enlarged upper end of a flower stalk, which bears the flower or group of flowers. Next naman is the most obvious part of a flower known as the petal. So petals or most petals are brightly colored to attract insects for pollination. So when we have group of petals, we call that one as corolla. So those are the parts of a flower. Okay, so let's just have a simple activity. Name it to win it, the different flowers. So first, we have the, ayan, santan. The next one is, that is a rose. The next one, that is a kalachuchi. Next, syempre, pinakasikat is gumamela. So gumamela, yan po ang flower na kung saan present po lahat ng mga parts nito. So, complete po yung parts ng gumamela. It includes the female as well as the male organ. Next, we have also the bougainvillea. Next topic is all about pollination. Okay, so when we say pollination, this happens when pollen coming from the male anther. So, dun sa male organ of a flower, there is now the pollen. Nasa anther siya. Then now, it will transfer to the female stigma. So, from the male organ going to the female organ, ang pollination natin. So, this can happen and facilitated by means of wind, insects, birds, water, and other agents known as pollinators or agents of pollinations. So we will explore the two main types of pollination, the self-pollination and the cross-pollination. When we say self-pollination, it occurs when pollen from a flower's anther, okay, so nandito po yung anther natin, is deposited to the stigma of the same flower or another flower of the same plant. So kapag po the same flower, for example, etong flower lang po, galing galing po dito yung pollen dito sa anther na ito, malalagay lang po siya dito sa stigma ng the same flower, that is self-pollination. So, parang ganito po yan, no? From the anther going to the stigma, okay, wherein it happens on the same flower or the same plant. Dun sa mismong iisang plant, meron siyang maraming flower going to that other flower of the same plant, that is self-pollination. So, sabi dito, this method preserves parental traits and requires fewer pollen grains. So, examples of plants or flowers po na nagkakaroon ng self-pollination is grasses po, sunflowers, and maple trees. Ayan. Next naman, when we see cross-pollination, it happens when pollen transfers from one flower to the stigma of a different individual plant of the same species. Ayan. For example, galing po dito yung pollen from this anther of this flower. Then, it goes to the next, okay, flower of different plant po. Ibang plant na po siya. Ayan. So, that is what you call cross-pollination. So, happens when pollen transfers from the flower to the stigma of a different individual plant of the same species. So, pag same species, gumamela pa rin po. So, this process foster genetic diversity. That is why, okay, kung si nanay is meron siyang red na gumamela, and then later on, nagtanim siya ng white gumamela, yun lang po yung tinanim niya. And then later on, after some time, nagkaroon ka ng gumamela na kulay pink. Ayan. So, that is cross-pollination from red gumamela, yung nag-transfer yung pollen from red gumamela, then pumunta siya kay white gumamela. Ayun po, nagkakaroon po tayo ng, pagkakaiba ng kulay. That is produced by cross-pollination. So, it improves offspring adaptability and disease resistance. So, common examples are apple trees, pumpkins. Ayan. So, that is what you call self-pollination and cross-pollination. Now, let's shift to non-flowering plants. So, when we say non-flowering plants are those that never produce a flower. So, some non-flowering plants still produce seeds. So, this type of plant is called gymnosperm. So, kapag nagpo-produce po yung mga plants na yan na hindi nagpo-flower, okay, nagpo-produce sila ng seeds, they are called gymnosperm. Conifer trees, just like pine trees, are among the most well-known gymnosperm. So, yun po yung nakikita natin na parang ano. Let's go to the next slide. Ayan, so ganito po siya. So, they are called gymnosperms, naked seeds, or conifers. So, conifers are woody plants. Most of them are trees such as pine trees, firs, cypresses, junipers, cedars, and redwoods. So, they reproduce using their cones. Next naman po is we have ferns. Ayan, when we say ferns, instead of seeds, they produce spores. So, ferns reproduce in two-stage process. So, first, the sporangia on the fronts release spores that land in suitable areas. Kunwari po, nagland yan sa mga soil. So, the spores develop into a prothallus. It is a tiny plant that produces both male and female cells. Then next, a new shoot and stem then grow into a proper frond and the tiny prothallus dies. So, ito po yung first stage niya. Second stage is when the spores develop into a tiny heart-shaped plant called prothallus. Ayan po kapag naging ganyan na siya. So, they make the female and male cells. So, from this heart-shaped plant po, okay, nagagawa po dyan yung sperm and yung egg. So, when it rains, the male cells swim to fertilize the female cells. So, in this, water enables the male cells to reach and fertilize the female cells, leading to new front growth. Ayan po. So, from there, pag there is na what you call fertilization happens, ayan po, meron na po tayong panibagong fern. So, that is a life cycle of a fern. So, hanggang sa maging malaki na naman po siya, dun sa back part po ng mga fern, meron po siya parang yung mga maliliit na butil-butil. So, those are what you call spores. Tapos, okay, babalik at babalik po yan. That is what you call life cycle of a fern. Next, life cycle of a moss. Ayan. So, moss also has two-stage cycle. So, in the first stage, it produces spores. Ayan. So, magpo-produce po muna siya ng spores. This moss spores grow into new moss plants that have male branches and female branches. So, that is the first stage. In the second, the male branches produces male sex cells. One male and one female sex cell unite to make a fertilized egg. So spores that land on damp ground may grow into new moss plants and its life cycle begins. So the fertilized egg grows into a thin stalk with a spore case on top. So when the spore case opens, the spores are released. Finally, flowering and non-flowering plants play critical roles in the ecosystem. So they provide food for various organisms just like us, human beings, insects, and animals. They serve also as sources of medicine and help maintain ecological balance. So conserving these plants is vital or very important as they support other life forms and our well-being. So that's all for the topic about sexual reproduction in flowering and non-flowering plants. Thank you and bye-bye.